Hey everyone, Renee here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about my June TBR. So for my June TBR, I am going to be referring to my phone a lot, so sorry if I keep looking down. But for June, I am going to be participating in the Whatever You Want-A-Thon hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing, and I am so excited. Honestly, this readathon just sounds so fun, and when she first announced it earlier this month, I knew I had to do it. I've never participated in a readathon before, but this is gonna be the one. So if you don't know what the Whatever You Want-A-Thon is, it is a month-long readathon happening in the month of June. And honestly, it's just so intricate and there's so much to it, and just you can tell how much work and thought really went into this, and it just looks so fun. So I'm gonna briefly go over it a little bit, but honestly, I'm going to link the Twitter and the Google Drive for it and the host down below, so you can go check her announcement video out. So if you do want to join it, I mean, it looks fun. So essentially, the readathon is broken down into teams, and I believe there are 5 teams, and I have chosen to join Comrades of Chaos, and the team captains are Spoops from Spoopy Hall and Ro from Wandering Worlds, and I chose to join Comrades of Chaos because, I mean, I feel like that's just fitting to my brand. I'm a little chaotic, and my reading is a little chaotic, and pretty much everything that I do is a little chaotic. I've been really in the mood for thrillers and horrors, and I read a lot of mixed media, and actually a couple of like books on the top of my TBR are like historical or sci-fi, which never happen. I don't usually read sci-fi or historical fiction or anything along the lines. It's very rare that I pick up a book in those genres, but there are a couple books that have come out recently that are. So I figured Comrades of Chaos would be the best one for me at this time, because I feel like a lot of the books that I want to be reading can fit within that team genre. And before I start, I do want to also say that my goal for the Whatever You Want-A-Thon was 7 books. So I think I have 9 here, maybe 10. So as long as I read them all, that's awesome. So the first book that I have is Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley. This is the Owlcrate edition from I can't remember what month, but it is this beautiful purple cover with the purple sprayed edges, and it is stunning, and it essentially is about gay witches, and we love that. So I don't think this fits within my team's theme because it is kind of a fantasy, but there is LGBTQ rep in here, which is another reason why I picked it. You do get points for that, and it is Pride Month, and I wanted to make sure that I had some representation in there for Pride Month. So I'm very excited to read this. Also, my friend Jan just read this not long ago, and she loved it, and the whole time she was reading it, I was like, wow, I can't wait to read that. So we're gonna give this a go. Next up, we have Little Feasts, which is stories by Jules Archer. This is a short story book, and from what I know, they're really twisted kind of horror style stories. And that's right up my alley. I love finding stuff like that. I don't even know how I stumbled upon this, to be honest. I think it might have been the cover. I was like, that looks cool. But I chose this because one of the prompts is to read an indie / self-published book, and this is by an indie publisher, and it definitely fits within my team's category because it is horror twisted type stuff, and I feel like this is just going to be a really short, quick, easy read, and I love throwing some of those into my TBR because I feel like books like this definitely help prevent a reading slump, at least for me. I like mixing it up, so I'm very excited to give this a go. Next up, we have Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. So this is a historical fiction Titanic retelling with a POC lead, and that's all I needed to know. I don't, as I stated, typically go for historical fantasy. Historical fantasy? Am I saying historical fiction? It's historical fiction. I don't typically go for historical fiction, but it is a Titanic retelling, and I absolutely love the Titanic. And I also really like that there is a POC lead in at this time instead of Rose and Jack. I didn't really care for Rose. I think she was selfish. And I actually have 2 prompts for this book. I have this one for POC representation because our main character, I believe, is Chinese. And I also had this for... oh, out of my comfort zone because it is historical fiction and I just don't ever really do that. So I'm using this for 2 prompts, which I believe the rules said you can use them for up to 3, so I think that's legal. But I'm very, very, very excited for this book. Next up, we have Frostbite by Rochelle Mead. Now, this one, I don't know if this would fit in my team. This might fit more into like the fantastical team, magical team, because it's like magical, supernatural beings. So I might leave this out of like my team genre, but I chose this for the prompt poll. So one of the prompts was to do a poll and have someone vote on a book to read from a list. And this one won, and I was extremely surprised when it did, but the Vampire Academy fan base is alive and popping off right now within the book community. And honestly, I'm glad it won because I really am excited to delve back into this world. I just read the first one last month, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm very excited to move on to the second book. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's Vampire Academy. What more do you need to know? Nostalgia, vampires, yes. And I'm also buddy reading this with my friend Tabitha from Poco Loco Tabitha, and I will link her channel down below. She is a sweetie, and I'm really excited to discuss this with her. So, yes. Next up, we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is supposed to be a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and it is more of a historical romance as it's set in, I believe, 1920s Shanghai. Yes. 1920s Shanghai. So it's more historical, romantic, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel about it. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on this. Once again, it's historical. Don't usually go there, but wanted to anyway. It's Romeo and Juliet. Don't like Romeo and Juliet. Like, everything about this book is telling me I'm not gonna like it, but I'm gonna read it anyway, and I'm actually still excited to read it because I am buddy reading this with my friend Jan from Jan Agaton, and I adore her, and I'm really excited to talk about this with her. I think we're both kind of on the same page with this. We're like, we want to read it, but we're not quite sure why. And I am putting this in there for the buddy read prompt, which I actually could put either one of these in since these are both going to be buddy reads, but my initial buddy read was this one because me and Jan planned this like over a month ago. And since it is historical, I believe it can still fit for my team's prompt. So I'm very excited, I guess, to get into this one. Next up, we have a book that I have been looking at for so long, and that is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I can't even, like, everybody loves this book. Every time someone mentions Song of Achilles, it is just so much praise and love for this book. And from what I believe there is LGBT rep in this book as well, so it's great for this month. And I believe that I chose this for 2 prompts. So the first prompt that I chose for it is author's debut. This was Madeline Miller's debut book. And from what I am gathering, it was a strong debut. So I'm using it for that prompt, and I'm also using it for, oh, there was another one. Oh, title last letter, title first letter, which I assume that means like the first and last letters of the title match, and it's Song of Achilles, does in the title. So S, it starts and ends with S. So I'm using this for both of those prompts. This is a Greek mythology retelling. I absolutely love Greek mythology. I actually took a Greek mythology class in high school because I didn't want to take anything else, and that just sounded so interesting, and I fell in love with it from there even more than I already was interested. So I feel like I'll definitely like this book, and I really hope that I do. Next up, we have The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan Heat. This was one of my most anticipated releases of 2021, and I actually just unboxed it in the most recent Alcrate box. So this is the Alcrate exclusive cover, and I think I said I was going to fit this into my 5-star prediction prompt because it is a 5-star prediction, one of my most anticipated releases of the year. Have to love it. If I don't give it 5 stars, I'll be sad. So yeah, we're gonna go with this. I mean, this could also be a book that It's out of my comfort zone because it is a sci-fi book, and from what I know about it, it's two sisters who are separated and trying to find each other. One sister is on like the separate world, like deserted island type of vibe, and then the other sister is worlds away in this climate ravaged eco city type dystopian world vibe. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't even know if I can make sense of it. It just sounds really, really interesting, and I hope that it is every bit as amazing as its cover. Then next up we have Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This could also be a 5-star prediction type of prompt, but I'm going to put it in Bookish Creators' fave because Strange the Dreamer is listed as one of Maddie's faves, which I think she said that like if it's like the sequel, it's fine. Maybe I can include it in that prompt. If not, there's other prompts I can include it in, but I'm gonna try to include it in Bookish Creators. And I know that this doesn't really fit with my team's category because this can definitely go into the fantastical group, but I'm gonna read it anyway because I just hauled it and I'm super excited because Strange the Dreamer is one of my favorites and I haven't read Muse of Nightmares yet. So I'm extremely excited to get to this and I really hope I love it just as much as the first one. Maybe even more. I don't know. We'll see. And then the last book that I have is Heartstopper Volume 1. Once again, coming through with the LGBT rep for Pride Month, but also of course, I have to have some type of graphic or manga in my TBR. This one, I think I was going to include, I don't know. This one I'm definitely going to include in Hauled in the Past Year, because that's a prompt. But there's another prompt that says, reminds you of the pride flag, and I don't know if this counts, because it reminds me of the pride flag in a way of there's just a cute LGBT couple on the cover, and that's what the pride flag represents. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like just colors, but I don't know. Maybe I'll discuss. Maybe I'll just not include it there because I don't want to bother anybody by asking. But regardless, I'm going to put this in the Hauled this year or in the past year prompt, and I'm super excited to read it and join in on everybody's love for the Heartstopper series. I have not heard a single person say that they don't like this, so I'm going to like it. I know it. I know it. I just know I'm gonna love it. So I'm very excited for this. So that is all my books for my June TBR. We got a hefty stack here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is 9. So as long as I read all of them or most of them, I should be able to hit my goal for the readathon. And I'm just so excited for the readathon. Honestly, Maddie, if you do watch this, it was just such a brilliant idea, and just the amount of work that you could tell was put into it. Admirable, respect. I can't wait. So that's pretty much all I have for this video. Once again, all the links will be down below. Anybody I mentioned will be down below. All the information for the readathon down below. Anyway, if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button down below to help support this channel, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to follow me on my reading journey. And like always, all of my social media links will be down below as well. Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, the works. So if you want to follow me a little bit closer outside of YouTube, that'd be great. We can be friends. And yeah, once again, I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.